we had a contest for the two biggest Nimpod fans, and we for a free hangout. Pretty stoked. It's good to get to know them.
Yo, conceived as one, split into two. Gonna talk so much shit till the air goes blue. After we're through, you're gonna wish you were monozygotic too. Just a couple of Nimpods up to no good. Couple of Nimpods up to no good. See what we're doing there? It's Nimrods. But it's a podcast with Nimpods.
Nimpods 29. Oh, that's a great start to Nimpods 29.
Good yawn.
Huh?
Good yawn.
You drinking your 4 bottles of wine that
No.
you found in your basement?
No, actually, I did have a taste, but they've all gone. It's all homemade.
Oh, it's all vinegar.
It's all vinegar.
Damn. You can make some fries.
Yeah, it wasn't
Bummed
too
out?
awesome. I thought I scored, but
Yeah, that's not a real big score. Dan has this tiny. It's a really small crawl space, right? Like, is it literally like a crawl space? You gotta crawl.
yeah, it's I don't know. It's probably about 3 feet.
I thought, I thought you were on a slab. But yeah. What has been going on? I felt like we haven't Nimpoded in a while, but it was like last week, wasn't it? This time last week, Sunday.
I think so.
We're kind of sadly going back into like the Sunday release on Monday schedule, which is it's fine. It's whatever it is.
Well, it's better than what we had before.
Which is never posting. We actually hung out with we had a contest for the two biggest Nimpod fans, and we for a free hangout on Monday night. How'd that go? They were pretty stoked. It was good to get to know them. It was a real inside job. Inside Nimpods.
It was nice.
Nice getting out.
It's nice to get out.
We hung out with good buddies of ours, and basically 2 motivating factors to actually get our shit together and do some regular Nimpods, which is good. Perry and James, big shout out to them. They get a shout out pretty much every Nimpods.
I'm pretty sure they're the only ones. They're our only listeners.
Yeah, I don't know. We do get more than 2 views on our Nimpods, so I have to say that that is not confirmed. But yeah, what's been going on? I had some cool news this week, or we did. I still consider you like a producer of this movie, but
I had nothing to do with it.
Our little 1-minute short that we did with Katie back in, I think it was like December. We like a 1-minute short called The Hike. It was actually kind of a shitty name. I swear you came up with the name. That's kind of why I give you credit, but you're like, no, I wouldn't come with such a lame name called The Hike.
No.
And
no, I think I did have titles for it.
You did have titles for it, and you thought it was good enough to like sort of start like kind of like a show around.
Oh, I think anything is good enough to wrap a show around.
Yeah. Are you writing right now?
There's thinner presences, yes.
So Dan's writing and Nimpoding at the same time. So
I gotta grab it in.
Make sure it sounds good, because just make sure it sounds good, because it's like I always have to fucking edit your audio.
Why?
De-hum or de-suck. Put the de-suck compressor on there.
Oh, whoops. Just a sec.
Yeah, it sounds a lot different now.
It sounds different now?
Yeah, it just like cracked in to like
Oh, really? I just got my headphones.
Oh.
Or my buds, whatever these are.
Yeah, no, Monday night was pretty nice. We went to like a Swollen Members concert. Swollen Members was a band that was pretty big, in like the 2000, the Knots.
They had like...
So they had some big hits, fairly big hits Canadian-wide. I don't know if they're like really like that big in the States in any way.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think they really made it that far. But they kind of like making resurgence lately, just doing some live gigs locally, some local stuff. West Coast.
That was
tour.
pretty good.
That was fun.
High energy.
Yeah, it was fun. That's kind of a we don't get out and just kind of like a guy's night much anymore. But that's not like, I don't say that in a bad way. It's just, this shit, shit to do. Yeah, well, anyway, going back to the hike, that it's a weird, I basically just did it as like an After Effects test to kind of create this weird spider monster thing. I didn't plan it to be a spider, but I kind of wanted to make it a weirder monster, but I ended up not really figuring out how to do like just the way it was shot and stuff. I couldn't really do what I truly wanted. Do you find that when you're shooting something that you are when it comes to editing, and on something like this, the hike, where I had a bit of a effects in it, do you find that you compromise a lot? Like there's a lot of compromise. Like what percentage do you think most of the times that there's a compromise? Because you're saying, oh, it's not what you envisioned stuff. I find that you do say that a lot. Me? Like personally, I say that? Yeah. Oh. No, I kind of had this idea where I guess just the logistics of the shooting. I just didn't really have. I'm not saying it didn't turn out like as good as I thought it would be or anything. It's as good as it was gonna be. Like, I don't know. I just kind of I envisioned more of like a weirder monster, something a little bit more Thing-esque was kind of the idea, if that makes any sense. Like something that was like kind of half human, half something else. Yeah, I think it kind of worked. Yeah, I mean, it's just goofy short. Like it's not really. I think the creature definitely ended up being fairly creepy. Yeah, it definitely was creepy. I thought it's kind of funny that it went into a festival because it's like pretty much the first movie I've ever been a part of or shot that had no desire to be in it. Like it's not a festival movie. Do you know what I mean? Where any kind of short we did back in the day were always kind of focused on either the Vancouver Island Film Festival. Like we didn't really focus on shorts. Do you know what I mean? And then we've kind of gotten to this idea where, hey, why not just do some of these really short shorts? I don't even necessarily even call them shorts. They're sort of like almost like mini scenes. Like I mean, the hike is not really. I mean, it kind of has a beginning, middle, end in a way, but it's not done the traditional way. It's more. I don't know. It's hard. I don't know what I'm trying to get at, but I'm saying that like shorts have never really been like a full goal of ours, but like kind of rethinking shorts lately. Instead of making like a 10-minute short, like that's something that we've never ever thought about. Like kind of making something that's 10 minutes long. It's just something like that's not. I mean, I guess if you look at In the Headlights, the stuff we put on our channel lately, like the In the Headlights, and they were like 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes long, but they're not done. What am I trying to get at? I'm trying to get at like, if you're gonna make a short, kind of, I personally think, hey, well, the difference between a 10-minute short and a 1-minute short is huge. For me, I'm much more willing to watch a 1-minute short than a 10-minute short. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, do you plan on going to the festival? Yeah, of course. Why not? It's the very first. Oh, we didn't even say what festival it was. It's called the Couch and Valley Film Festival. It's the very first Couch and Valley Film Festival. So who runs it? Like, there's a small. Is it Film Couch and like? Yeah, it's Couch and based. Duncan. No, it's at Film Couch and like. The Film Couch. I don't think Film Couch actually exists anymore. I'm not too sure. Oh, it's a new kind of society, I think. I don't know of a. Is it Island Savings? Yeah, it's at the VIU, Vancouver Island. VIU. Oh, it's at VIU. And then the new building there. Oh, fairly new. Yeah. 5 years old. No, cool. Do you want to be my date? Yeah. No, I don't think of this as not like a Francis Brothers film. If that. Oh, I don't care. It's like I think of you as like, it's just a silly little short. What I was getting, I don't care about that. I think I was saying I was trying to get at the fact that, this short, it's like it's kind of like I got this toe in this festival, and it's kind of an excuse to like, you know, have a night out kind of, and also like just to hang out with like couch and people. It's kind of weird. It's like we kind of hang out with the Nanaimo. I mean, this is kind of very like semantic based kind of thought process, but like we kind of hang out with the Nanaimo. If we ever do, we always end up in Nanaimo, where like we kind of grew up in Cowichan. And
Yeah.
you know,
well,
to
there's
actually,
less happening.
oh, definitely less happening. But I think there's stuff going on that, you know, it's even under us. Like we don't really like. I mean, we don't really branch out as much, and it's kind of like one of my goals for like the future is to actually like kind of branch out more and like go to like more events and stuff. I think that's something that we kind of like. We just don't like have. Not saying that we're busier than other people or anything, but it's just something we don't really like. We'd rather be kind of making stuff. I think that we kind of run into that kind of excuse a lot, and like I would definitely say it's sort of like a weakness of ours in a way. You know, it's you just, you know, I don't know. I just so with this 1 minute short.
You want to be what you're saying. You want to be more social in the film communities.
Well, it's yeah, of course, and it's weird because like I find myself I'm a pretty social guy. Like I don't like I'm pretty, you know, at times I'm kind of. Like I think of myself as somebody who can get out there, and I'm not like shy anymore.
Actually, it was funny because it's funny you say that. I just saw this thing on good old Facebook, but it's actually really interesting. This lady, it was a TED Talk, and she was talking about how to live to 100. Actually, I think Rick posted this.
Yeah, I think so. I think I saw that.
Shared
too.
it, and it's interesting. This study is saying. It's right here. So they're saying, so there's 1, 2, 3. There's like 10 things that are keep you staying alive.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some interesting ones because you would assume like exercise, being lean versus being overweight, blah blah blah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the obvious ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Diet, but those are actually lower than the top one. Well, the top 2 is actually like is social, a social angle, which probably in earlier studies like this back in the day probably didn't even have that as even an option.
Yeah.
But they're saying, and it's probably more so than ever now, I would think, because as much as we live in this sort of social media world, I think people are getting more lonely because of it.
Yeah.
Right? They have this sort of like, in a weird way, it looks on the surface that everyone's actually more social because of the social media and internet and stuff, but it's actually in a way the actual person-to-person connections and stuff I think there's less. I think people have less now.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
But this
I agree.
This interesting study was cool.
Yeah, the
though.
study was
It was
interesting.
interesting because like it goes from like clean air,
there's like smoking on there, and it's still
hypertension, lean versus overweight, exercise, cardiac rehab, flu vaccine. Is the 5th most important.
Wow.
Do you get vaccinated?
Yeah, I have to. Well, I had to.
Yeah, I guess in the healthcare, like, we're sort of, you don't have to.
Forced to. Well, yeah, we had to wear like a mask all the time if we didn't or something.
I mean, because I think technically you can't force someone to do that.
Yeah.
Flu vaccine, drinking, smoking. Smoking is a lot higher than drinking. And then the top 2, close relationships and social integration. And the woman, I don't know her name here, doesn't say it. She says like how in social integration, like how it's not necessarily even based on your close relationships, but basically what do you talk to your neighbor or your the paper boy or the guy who delivers your mail, like basically just how many people you talk to on a daily basis in your daily going about. Very interesting, actually.
Yeah, no, I saw that. It was, I mean, it's very, what's the term, like sort of, it's in a way it's sort of cryptic, but shit can happen where like, you can die tomorrow, right? So it's like, I get what the point of the whole thing is. And yeah, I think, I actually have been thinking about just the idea that like I do live in my own little bubble, and especially now that I'm an independent worker now.
How is that? How's that been?
It's been fine. Yeah, I don't know if do you want to get into that? I guess it's film related. It's film related.
It's life related.
It's Nimpod related. Basically, I no longer have a job. Which it's been kind of off and on in the last year and a half anyways. So
yeah,
it's not like I'm just jumping in with nothing.
Well, you're a full-time editor right now.
I'm a full-time freelance editor, if that's kind of like technically what I'm doing right now. But which is, super scary. But I think I'm up to it. I think I was independent, completely independent. Ran my own thing about 10 years ago, for about 10 months, and survived being an independent video producer. Less editing at that time. Actually, a lot less any kind of contracts or anything. At this point, at least I have one really good, solid day-to-day type thing where I'm working full-time. But, I didn't have that back in the day. But I still survived. And, I have a house and stuff now, so I can't necessarily fuck around like I did before 10 years ago. But I think I've learned a lot in the last 10 years on how to like keep afloat, and I'm pretty confident. I'm actually I'm really confident. I think
you'll do fine.
Yeah, I think I got this. It was good to have that kind of like kind of a backup. But
yeah,
in a way, it also.
But you still do. Like, you still have the training and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Worst case scenario, you probably could get that job again.
Yeah, absolutely. This is like what Dan's talking about. Is, I don't know if you follow Nimpods for these 29 episodes. Is I have training, and I've worked in a hospital for about 7 or 8 years, and but that no longer is an option. But yeah, let's get off the personal. Not as personal. I just think it's boring. But I feel at this age and where I'm at in my life and stuff, I can I can do it. I can do it. I'm not actually really that worried. I say I'm worried, but I'm not.
Well, it's naturally to be worried.
Yeah, but it's like I think there's just a lot of opportunity nowadays. A lot more even since I did it like 8 or 9 years ago. It was about 9 years ago when I did it for about a year. And like just a lot more knowledge. Like I've learned tons in like 9 years. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like I'm like a whole nother person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what I'm doing is what
are you doing?
I'm transposing. So I wrote basically a scriptment in Google Docs on my phone because I do a lot of standing up. I honestly I don't sit very much.
No, but we've never had we've always had a problem sitting.
Don't really have.
You can ask my mom. Ask our mom.
Yeah, ask our mom about her sitting issues.
And our wives probably.
So, well, the thing is, if I sit, I'll sit. Like, it's kind of one of those things.
Yeah.
So, on my phone, I've been writing this scriptment, and I finished the scriptment thing, and now I'm transposing it onto my PC, into cell text, and unfortunately, I can't, like, Google Docs doesn't copy well into the Celtex program.
Oh yeah.
And so now I'm just sort of going through it and formatting.
Oh, shitty.
It's okay. It kind of makes you kind of go over the script too, or the treatment at the same time.
Nice.
So I'm sort of like, it's okay.
Why don't you explain to the kids what a scriptment is?
I don't really know. I don't really know the official. I can Google it.
Well, script is like it's basically
basically
it's
what I'm
getting a
doing
laid
is-
out. You're laying out your movie.
In sort of like a treatment,
Pretty
like scene by scene kind
scene
of
by
breakdown.
scene, like, you know,
but
like
then there's some scenes that I've basically written. Just
Yeah.
these are just all very first drafty stuff. But like if
Oh,
I
yeah.
have an idea for snips of dialogue or something, I'll write. I'll actually do the back and forth between characters and
Totally.
blah blah blah.
yeah,
But they just like so one scene will be could be 2 pages of like people talking or whatever and
Yeah.
you know plot stuff or whatever.
Mhm.
But then like 4 scenes in a row will be so and so fight. You know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's,
and that could be like 10 pages, 5 pages, something. Right?
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. That's just how I've.
You've
It's
kind
not,
of you've been
it's
getting
not
really,
necessarily how I write all the time, but
No. but you like that style. Like we both kind of work that way pretty well. Where like you'll send like we kind of work this way. Like we rarely have like, I mean, this could be our detriment too, is the fact we always let the script have chances to like kind of grow off of, right?
yeah, it doesn't necessarily.
There is stuff that we like.
Not all actors love that.
Oh, they like.
I like having a bit of room in the script, so if there is some kind of like spark or some kind of like different way or some kind of like magic that I see kind of happening, not to get too pretentious, but you know, it's something when we're shooting, or like even sometimes just when we show up, there's just like something like even just an object or something, or
Yeah.
maybe something that wasn't completely thought of in the way of even the blocking of a scene can change the scene in more ways than just where people are, but like, oh, okay, so maybe he goes, you know, does that, you know,
Yeah.
that happened a lot on Wrong People, and
Totally.
I like that. Honestly like that style. I like living, like working that way, but
We
it's
tend
not
to
for-
work with-
It's not for everyone.
No, but we tend to work with actors who kind of like have that same sensibility.
I think because I think it's my confidence in like as a writer that you know, my confidence isn't huge. Like I don't have big confidence about. I just happen to be sort of like the writer out of me and you,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean that I am like a even good writer. That's just I sort of end up being the one writing words. So
Yeah.
I'm not precious with my words, and I'm not married to them. They'll be like, you know, and there's also like there's always a few lines where I'm like, oh, that's awesome, that's gold, and we're gonna stick to that, and blah blah blah. And then when we go to shoot, it's like, wow, that line really actually doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
like it's too much.
Totally.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now.
Sweet. Do you want to get into the idea of the script a little bit? Or you could just do a synopsis of like what's it about. I can do it. I can do it so it's like more regurgitated. It's more like it's a fluff piece.
Sure, let's leave that for the next podcast.
Oh, okay. Maybe you'll get more in
Part 2.
yeah, like maybe you'll have more an idea of like what the actual thing is. Yeah, so it's a good little update.
I'm stoked to be like actually writing, because it's weird when you're not. I feel when I'm not sort of like doing that, it's when I start doing, I'm like, oh, why don't I do this? Just do this all the time.
Yeah. Totally.
I'm liking what we have. It's I mean, of course, I'm liking what we have right now. So
I like what we've came up with so far.
yeah. So I'll keep doing this for a little bit, and yeah, I guess we'll sign off.
Oh, signing off. Yeah, this is probably a good healthy length, I think. Welcome, and why am I saying welcome? Thanks for listening to Nimpods number 29. I think we're really focused on the numbers. I think we need to like abandon the numbers a bit. Maybe not.
Well, what are they? Well, because like, yeah, there was definitely like there's like sort of there's like this the first, what is it, first 14?
I think 13 we did in 3 years.
Yeah.
No, 13 we did in about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And then from 13 to 14 was, I believe, a 3-year window of nothing. 3
Wow.
years. Like, literally 3 years. Like, it blew my mind, actually. And then from 14, which, I mean, that was probably in... I have to look back, but it's not that long ago. Like, October.
When we really started doing these.
But from 14 to 30.
Yeah, wow.
Or 29.
All right. So next one's 30.
Cool.
Big
Well,
3-0 party.
I'm Jamie Francis, and the other guy is Dan Francis. And we the Francis Brothers, a.k.a. the Nimpods. Check us out on the YouTubes at francisbrothersfilms.com/YouTube. Check us out on Instagram or Francis Brothers Films. And Facebook, we're Francis Brothers Films. And just check us out if you like our rambling. Interested in any way, why don't you subscribe to any of our things. Check out Nimpods on those channels. We don't have a separate Nimpods. We used to back in the early days, season 1, but it just got too much to like. So it's just on our site, francisbrothersfilms.com. But YouTube is probably the best place to find us and listen to our stuff. And you're probably watching this on YouTube anyways. Anyway, I'm signing off. Thanks for watching. Or listening. Whatever you're doing.
Telepathically.
Mm-hmm.
In the future. That's future proofing.